Hello. All right, so all week long we're talking about pumpkins, and today we're going to read a special story, and we're going to pull our vocabulary words straight out of the story. So I'm going to kind of do them both together. All right, this book is called Pumpkin Circle, and it's because if you know anything about plants or life, it all goes in a circle. It's called a cycle, the life cycle. And so this is going to be looking at the life cycle of a pumpkin. And this story is by George Levinson, and the photography is by Shmuel Thaler. And he takes some real pictures. This is a nonfiction story that tells you about the life cycle of a pumpkin. And so a nonfiction story means that it's facts. It's real information about a pumpkin that you need to know to understand how pumpkin grows. Whoa, look at all those pumpkins. The pumpkin seed makes the pumpkin plant, and the pumpkin plant makes pumpkins. Ooh, raise your hand if you've been to a pumpkin patch this year, or you've carved a pumpkin. So Emmeline and Eli and me and Mr. Mitchell, we carved a big pumpkin this weekend and got all the yucky guts out of it. And so these pumpkins are pumpkins straight off the pumpkin plant. But have you ever wondered, where does the pumpkin come from? Deep within each pumpkin, the air is damp and cool. The walls are lined with teardrop seeds, each one a slippery jewel. So look at those seeds. If you've ever carved a pumpkin and got all the pumpkin, what I call guts out, these seeds are all in the pumpkin. Scrape them from their orange cave, wash away squishy mush. Save a few to grow next spring and have a bunch to munch. So you can roast pumpkin seeds and eat them. When the earth is soft and warm, plant those sleepy seeds. Yeah, that's the hand of a gardener. They're planting the seed in the soil to grow. In about 1 week, out they peek. 2 fresh, young, fat green leaves. We call this a seedling when the plant grows out to a young plant. This garden will be home to many pumpkin cousins, Smokey, Max, and Lumina, Lee Grand, and Tiny Munchkin. 1 pumpkin family, 5 varieties. Each one started from different pumpkin seeds. So here's all kinds of different pumpkins that grow, and their seeds all look different. Each passing minute awakens a new plant, reaching down with the silky roots. So here's the pumpkin plant, and here, you can see it, are the pumpkin roots coming out of the seed. Reaching up to dance. So here's the plant growing up. Remember, it grows up towards the sunlight to get lots and lots of sunlight into its, so it can produce food into its leaves, produces food and nutrients for itself through a big process called photosynthesis. Week by week, the pumpkin patch spreads before your eyes, filling every inch of space with leaves and roots and vines. There's all kinds of pumpkin vines. Huge green leaves grow towards the sky, prickly, lush, and wide. They soak up sun and water and make a shady place to hide. Ooh, look at that. Twisty trindles, grasp-like hands stretching out to cling. All right, I'm going to read this again because this is a vocabulary word for today. Twisty tendrils, grasp-like hands stretching out to cling. What do you think a tendril is? It's like a vine. And you see this right here? This is a tendril. It comes off a pumpkin plant. They roll down into fancy curls and wind up just like springs. Then silently as angels, flower buds appear with pointy little collars and gleaming silver hair. Gleaming is another vocabulary word we have. What do you think that word gleaming means? With pointy little collars and gleaming silver hair. Kind of like shiny. Velvet petals open, brilliant sunlight bowls, delicately fragrant, a sign of pumpkin gold. Along come the bees, floating through the air, buzzing, gathering, guzzling, zooming, everywhere. Butterflies and spiders, grasshoppers and snails explore the pumpkin garden as they travel private trails. These bugs climbing on the pumpkin plants. 100 days of weather, 100 days of care. Pumpkins climbing up the fence. Pumpkins everywhere. Farmers are tending to them, making sure their vines are growing and they're getting plenty of sunlight and water. Help those pumpkins sit up straight as they grow round and proud. Scratch on pumpkin names so they stand out in the crowd. Or sit back, enjoy the view. Pumpkins grow because pumpkins know exactly what to do. When summer turns to fall, green turns to gold. Shorter days brings chilly nights, and pumpkin vines grow old. Now comes the harvest. Pluck treasures from the vine. Clear away the lifeless leaves and hide the rags of time. So here's the farmer gathering the vines that have died and withered because they're not growing anymore. What do you think you find underneath all those dead vines? Pumpkins. Gather up the finished fruit, ripe and fully grown. Tidy up the garden, make a cozy pumpkin home. Salute the pumpkin circle, make way for pumpkin cheer. Behold the pumpkin miracle. We're pumpkin millionaires. What do you think that means? We're pumpkin millionaires. It's if you plant all those seeds, you have lots of pumpkins. Ooh. Make up pumpkin faces. Add bright candlelight. Set them on your doorstep. Let them flicker through the night. Carve that pumpkin into a jack-o'-lantern. Each day those pumpkins change. Getting older, getting strange. Sinking, shrinking pumpkin. Back to earth you go, turning into muck and dirt, a place for seeds to grow. Right, so this is the pumpkin. It is rotting. Rot means to wither and die. And so the pumpkin is rotting. As it rots and begins to mold and decay, it goes back into the earth. The ground kind of absorbs it, and then those seeds become what again? Yeah, a plant. So it starts all over. The seed in the ground turns a plant into a pumpkin, and the pumpkin decays and withers and dies, and it then turns its seeds from the inside of the pumpkin back into a pumpkin plant. So it just keeps going over and over and over again. It's pretty cool. How did this begin? What is this pumpkin thing? Is there a Mother Nature? Is there a pumpkin king? We can be sure of this. It's a circle without end. It's pumpkin seeds to pumpkin seeds again. All right, so and then the back of the book tells you how to grow a pumpkin. So that's a really cool story. Let's talk about what a pumpkin seed is. A pumpkin seed, that little teardrop seed, is the same as the seeds you were growing in class, the lima bean seeds. If you give them water and you put them in soil and you allow them to get sunlight, then that will grow a pumpkin plant. And a pumpkin plant, when it is growing well, will produce a pumpkin. It's the fruit it produces. And then that pumpkin grows, and when you cut it open and you dig in it, you get more pumpkin seeds. Those pumpkin seeds you can use to plant new pumpkins. So it's an ever-ending cycle. It's what we call a life cycle. So we're going to make a life cycle today. Let me pull it out over here so you can see it. The life cycle of a pumpkin is a page that looks like buried under all my pumpkin stuff. Like this. What you do is you're going to color them at the bottom, and you're going to start up here. You're going to tell me what happens first. You plant the pumpkin seed, and the seed grows, so that's going to go first. And then what comes next? It turns into a vine, and it flowers, so that's going to go here. And then it turns into a pumpkin that goes here. And then your pumpkin, you cut it open and get more seeds out, and that goes here. So it goes in a cycle. You're going to color them first, cut them out, and then glue them where they go on your pumpkin life cycle. And then you're going to post me a picture of this. I hope you'll have a wonderful day working with your pumpkins.